Welcome into the season premiere of The Red Zone. I'm your host, Alex Campbell, and every week we'll take this half hour to review the week that was for the North Central College football team, as well as bring you great stories and updates from across North Central's 25 varsity sports. I'm incredibly excited to take over as the host of The Red Zone this season, and on the field, it could not have been a more exciting start for the Cardinals. After over 600 days of waiting, the Cardinals handily defeated the Aurora University Spartans 64-7 on Saturday night at Benedetti Worley Stadium to go 1-0 on the year. The Cardinals dominated on both sides of the ball, highlighted by 3 rushing touchdowns for junior Ethan Greenfield and 3 passing touchdowns for freshman Luke Lanin in his NCC debut. In addition to Greenfield's 3 TDs, the Cardinals rushed for over 300 yards in what they hope will be a sign of things to come this season. The Cardinal defense allowed just 136 passing yards to preseason All-America quarterback Gavin Zimbelman, intercepting him twice and sacking him 4 times. With that, it is time to welcome in the true star of this show every week, Cardinals head coach Jeff Thorne, now in his 7th year and 6th season at the helm of the Cardinals. Coach, welcome back to the show for another season, and congrats on a Week 1 victory.
Thanks, Alex.
So before we check out some of the tape from the game, had the chance to talk to a lot of the players about being back on the field on Saturday night. But what was it like for you, being back on the sideline for the first time in almost 2 years?
Yeah, it was certainly the adrenaline rush that we've been missing for the better part of a year and a half. So it was really exciting to be back out there. I just thrilled to be able to watch our players perform and do what they've practiced so long to be able to do against somebody other than ourselves. So it was really a lot of fun. Crowd was incredible. I just grateful for the kind of showing we had in the stands on Saturday night. I think we were close to 5,000 people. It was outstanding.
Yeah, what does that do for you when you think the whole team, when you walk out of the locker room, you walk out onto the field, and there's just that buzz, that energy in the air from a crowd like that?
Typically I'm not all that aware of it, but it was different Saturday night, and you could just see the excitement, and the stands were packed, and that was exciting to kick off a season that we've waited so long for. It had to be a thrill for our players, especially our young guys.
Especially for the young guys, excuse me, but as we'll see later on the Cardinal Corner, I talked to some of the fifth-year seniors this week, and one of the questions I asked all of them was what their role was as leaders, keeping everybody on task through this long layoff. For you and the coaches, what role did you guys have not only on the field but off the field, and keeping all these guys together as a group, focused on the goals ahead, so that when you did eventually get back out on the field, everyone was ready to go?
How long is this show? I don't know if we have enough time to cover all the things that we've done with our team and our leaders, fifth-year guys have done to keep our team together, the things that we've experienced as a team. Everybody's had a rough go with the pandemic, but we've had some other curveballs thrown at us, a lot of loss that our teams had to deal with, and we've really leaned into our seniors and our super seniors, we call them, the fifth-year guys. They've been tremendous through this entire thing, and just really proud of them and really grateful for them.
As for those fifth-year guys, the 12 of them who are here for a 5th year, what does that mean to you for all those guys when offered the chance to come back for another year? The resounding response from them yesterday when I spoke to them was no-brainer, that when they were told, hey, you've got an extra year of eligibility, they all were immediately in. What does that mean to you as a coach for all those guys to show that commitment and be back here for another go-round?
I think it speaks to the culture that they maintain in our program. Our coaches work hard to instill and work at our culture, but it doesn't happen if the players don't buy in. And the players are really the ones that are driving the culture behind closed doors, in the dorms, in their houses that they're living in the locker room. So I think it just speaks to the strong culture that exists here, and that's an overused word in athletics, I know, but I think it is really what we've built this program on.
Now it's time to check the tape, where Coach Thorne and I will review a few highlight reel plays from the previous weekend's action. And Coach, I want to start with the first 2 completed passes of Luke Lanin's career, both of which went for touchdowns. And I think on these 2 plays, Luke really shows a wide variety of skill sets. Yeah. First to evade the pressure and then find Kaminsky.
Yeah, he's extremely athletic, very, very cerebral, and very, very intelligent, not just student, but he brings it to the athletic fields as well as a baseball player and a football player. There you see his quickness, his ability to make people miss, and then his accuracy on the move. It's really, I didn't realize his first 2 completions were for touchdowns. That's the first I've heard that.
Well, here's the second one, and he just shows poise in the pocket and launches this perfect deep ball.
Yeah.
And we saw his elusiveness on that first throw, and you really see his presence as a pocket passer here on the second throw.
A lot of maturity here. We had to adjust the route a little bit. D'Angelo Hardy had to adjust his route. He waited for it. Great protection by our offensive line, and Terrence Hill stepping in there and making a nice block as well. And it's great to see D'Lo get in the end zone. I hated the fact that they threw a flag on him here. I mean, it wasn't much at all.
No.
But D'Angelo's been through a lot just in the 3 weeks, 4 weeks we've been together as a team.
Absolutely. You mentioned the offensive line there. This next play is another way to feature the offensive line, because if there was a player of the game on offense as an individual, I think it had to be Ethan Greenfield with his 3 rushing touchdowns, also named CCIW Offensive Player of the Week. But this play here not only shows his vision and power as a runner, but also highlights the brand new right side of your offensive line, who really stepped up in this game. Yeah,
they're pretty talented guys. Jeske Maples at right tackle. His nickname is IHOP. His high school film, like the first 15 clips, are him pancaking defenders, and he's brought that to this level. He was able to be with us in January. Sam Pryor's our right guard. He just got here, so he's a true freshman. They're really talented, and Sharmore Clarke and Will Ebert, Jeff Thorne, all 5 of them were tremendous.
Absolutely. And then for this last play, we're going to turn it over to the defense and the 2 interceptions we saw in this game.
Yeah.
Gavin Zimbelman on the other side, All-American preseason quarterback. What was your approach to him in this game, and what did you see from your defense to cause these turnovers?
Well, I think we had great respect for Aurora's program, how well they're coached, and their quarterback's a dynamic player. I know he didn't have the best night Saturday, but I credit our front 4 for getting pressure on him. Dan Gilroy on that first interception, you just saw executed a great spin move and got a free run at the quarterback. That forces his hand. He's got to get rid of it sooner than he wants to, and then Dakota's able to make the interception. This one here, Sam Taviani just does a phenomenal job of accelerating through the ball. That's a tough one on a quarterback. He thinks he's got it. He puts some good zip on it. It's just a great play by Sammy.
Absolutely, and you mentioned the defensive line. Getting those pressures can force a quarterback into bad decisions and force him into a tight window like that.
Yep.
So obviously lots of positives to take from the Aurora game, but it's the big one this week. Battle for the Little Brass Bell at Wheaton. What's been your focus ahead of this week's game, coming off a big victory in your opener?
Reminding our guys we are the defending national champion, and we're that for a reason. We're a different team than we were last year when we played them. We're going to go into this game healthy. Last year we had lost a couple guys, but the experience we gained and the confidence that was obtained through the run that we went on against great football teams across the board, we're ready for this. We're not backing down from anybody. Yeah, they've had the better of us the last few times, but we're going to be ready come Saturday. Our guys will be prepared.
The seniors, including the super seniors, they've never won a brass bell game. What would it mean for you as a coach to see those guys in particular, but of course the whole team, but those guys in their final shot at Wheaton in a regular season game knock them off?
That'd be fantastic. I know they want it. I know they want to bring that bell home, and that's the objective, and that's the mission come Saturday.
And so far this week in practice, what's kind of been your sense? Obviously, you look at your guys' schedule, and preseason, 2 ranked opponents back to back, and then a lot of people would say an easier road after that. What's been, not only through that Aurora game, but the mentality this week in practice, knowing how big a moment so early in the season this week in this game is?
Every week is a big game from our standpoint. I'm not going to sugarcoat and try to act like this isn't a bigger game than most. It is. But our job is to go 1-0 every week. And that may sound, coaching cliche, but it is the reality. We can't afford to look past any opponent. This one just happens to carry a little bit more magnitude with 2 highly ranked teams, and it's a rivalry game. It's week 2. Our players are confident. And what have I experienced with them? I'm looking at guys that are carrying themselves with an air of confidence and preparation, and we're going to be ready to go.
Well, Coach, I will let you get back to that preparation for Saturday. Thanks so much for taking the time to come on the show, and good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Alex.
Coming up next, I sit down with Cardinal offensive veterans Sharmore Clarke and Ethan Greenfield. Welcome back to the Red Zone, and we're now here with two of the men from that big rushing performance on Saturday night. Running back Ethan Greenfield, offensive lineman Sharmore Clarke. Guys, thanks so much for coming on the show this week.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having us.
Sharmore, I want to start with you. Obviously, a lot of the team is back from the championship season, but one of the areas of the team that replaced a couple of guys is the offensive line, and you guys really dominated the trenches on Saturday night. What did you make of your group's performance?
We have a lot of work to clean up on, but the young guys are coming along nicely, so we just have to take it 1 week at a time and continue to work hard.
Yeah, and Ethan, we saw in a couple of those runs, particularly around the right side, you followed those young guys, and they were really clearing out space, it seemed like, at right guard and right tackle on Saturday night.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they did a really good job coming in as young guys and just working hard and understanding our offense and just giving great effort, and that's all it really attested to, and they did a great job for their first game.
And needless to say, for you as a running back and the whole running back group, when the offensive line has a really strong game, it makes your life a whole lot easier.
Oh yeah, you could ask anyone. You ask me or Terrence or Jordan, any of us, just saying they make our job easy all the time. Like if they have a good game, we're gonna have a great game, and it all really depends on them.
So, a lot was made about how long it had been since you guys had played, 631 days or something like that. And I'm curious to know, I've heard a little bit from you, Ethan, but I'm curious to hear more and to hear from you as well, Sharmore, how you guys spent that year and a half, both from a football and non-football perspective, how you kind of stayed with the mentality of the team and kind of stayed focused and prepared to know that when you eventually did get back out on the field, that you, as a member of the team, were going to be ready for it.
I would say, like, for the overall year, we all stayed together as a group with lifting, coming back, making sure that we're ready. And we had a couple guys go off to finish up their degrees and come back. But as a whole, we all wanted to play last year. We all wanted to be back. And everyone's just ready to go. We waited too long for this, so we're just itching to get back on the field.
And Ethan, I know before the game on Saturday, you were saying it sounds like you spent a lot of time in the gym over the last year or so, and you had maybe a bit of a friendly competition going on there with getting in the weight room?
Yeah, I mean, just like what Sharmore said, just throughout the time off, we never really left. We were always here. We always did team lifts, player run 7-ons. We practiced a lot in the fall and the spring, so there's a lot of time we spent together and a lot of time in the gym. And I think if you look across the board on our team, a lot of our returners have a lot of the same stuff. We're a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, a little bit faster because we put in that work. And just like what Sharmore was saying, like we've been itching at this for so long that it finally came around and we were ready for it because we've been preparing for the 632 days for it.
So when you guys did get out there, whether it was the game or whether it was the first all-team practice back this fall, did it feel like it had been a year and a half since the championship game? What was the vibe like when you guys got back out there together?
I would say it was definitely different. It was the first day at camp was different this year because it was shorter. But looking back at it, it was just like, oh, it's been a long time since we've done this. It was 2 years without camp is a lot different than we thought it was going to be, but it felt great to be on that field.
And then how good does it then feel to get out there on Saturday night and have a game go that well and be like, okay, yeah, we remember how to do this? Like, does that take a weight off your shoulders and kind of jog your memory a bit?
Yeah, I'd say a little bit. I mean, to the point we're very confident in our abilities and we show what we can do in practice. I think it was more along the terms of we haven't played a game so long that it's just a little different getting used to the speed and the feeling of everything. But I mean, once we got started, we just kind of kept rolling and it felt great. I mean, it was I was talking to a lot of our teammates saying this is one of the most fun nights I've had basically since December of 2019.
Sharmore, as we'll hear in a bit, I talked to a few of your fellow super seniors for the Cardinal Corner this week about the leadership role you guys have taken as that group of you who's been around here a really long time. What would you say your role in that was, and overall the role of the group of the 12 of you guys being the guys that kind of were the glue over the last year and a half?
I would say, like, Brock showed us how to lead, so we're trying to take that approach and show these young guys how to lead. My job in particular is just helping the O-line get up to speed and get going. I say me and Rod and our other senior, Nathan Gray, is doing a good job of that, getting these young guys up to speed as much as we can and just to get this going.
So now, looking forward to this week. Battle for the Little Brass Bell, Wheaton game. Sharmore, this is your fourth go-round. What does this game come to mean to you over your North Central career?
It means a lot. I won that bell. Like, in my 8 years of playing football or whatever it may be, I've never beat my rival school, so it's just I want that belt. I want that feeling of winning against my rival. So it means a lot. But also, it's just another game to us. We know that at this point. Can't put too much pressure on it.
And Ethan, as you're preparing for this game, obviously they were far apart, but your last two performances have earned you some hardware, so to speak. You were named the Stag Bowl MVP back in 2019. You get CCIW Player of the Week this week. How do you keep it going this week against the biggest regular season opponent on the schedule?
I mean, it's really all about, the way I see it is just working hard during practice and then giving effort, because that's how I see a lot of the plays we make as a team. We're going to make the choice if we're going to play until the whistle or we're going to let up a little early. And that's, I think, the difference is between a lot of good teams and a lot of great teams. And we need to figure out how to do that all the time. And that's how I plan on performing, like how I did last week, and continue to do that throughout the year. Is just great effort, hard work, and practice.
So before we get you out of here, a couple fun ones. Try to ask you guys some funny questions. Obviously, we've been talking football, talking a little bit more serious, but want to lighten it up a bit, get some laughs before you guys get out of here. First question of the day is, what's like your oldest habit? What is the one thing you do that like your friends would laugh at you for, like saying you're an old person for doing that one, or something you do that makes you feel old?
I'd say that just like kind of outside of like football and weightlifting, just like kind of moving a little bit, like growing a lot, like getting up, sitting down, like I'll make some weird noises and stuff, and people that I live with kind of always make fun of me for it, but that's something I've been doing probably for a couple years. I don't know why, but I just do.
I'll probably say the same thing. Whenever I'm back home and I'm just like getting up, it's just like, my back, like everything's hurting. It's like, dude, you're 22, like you're young.
Right.
But kind of old.
So the next one is, if you had to guess, how long do you personally feel you would last in a zombie apocalypse, and who on the football team would last the longest?
Personally, I really don't know. I haven't thought about this. I'd say I'm a pretty good bet for a couple months at least. I feel like I'd do all right. But someone who would do the best out of like everyone, I'm trying to think. That's a tough one. There's a lot of people that are running through my head. I'm trying to think some of the more. I think probably Tyler Rich. Tyler Rich is probably one of those guys. I feel like he would just last forever and make his own little life in that.
Yeah. I'll probably give myself 2 to 3 months. And I think Rhino will be the most prepared out of anybody, because I feel like he's just so smart that he thinks about everything.
And then last one, your favorite cartoon character. It can be more like as you've grown up. It can be as a kid. Take that any way you want.
Growing up, and probably now, for probably Patrick from SpongeBob. I always watched SpongeBob growing up, and I always loved Patrick, and I still think he's hilarious. He still makes me laugh to this day. So
Absolutely.
I'll probably say Danny Phantom. Like, I grew up watching that show, and I love that show.
Nice. All right, well, appreciate the honesty. Good to mix it up a little bit, guys, and thanks so much for your time again this week. Big week coming up ahead. Good luck on Saturday. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
After the break, we profile football's super seniors on this week's Cardinal Corner, plus the play of the week and the debut of the Cardinal Rundown as we look to the rest of this week's North Central action. On this week's Cardinal Corner, as the football team prepares for their biggest game of the season, we wanted to take a moment to highlight a special group of Cardinals. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, all NCAA athletes were given the option of an extra year of eligibility. For 12 members of the defending national champion football team, who had the chance to stay on campus for a 5th year and defend that title after fearing they may have played their final game without knowing it, they didn't need to think twice.
Almost a no-brainer, entering the real world comes into a factor when making that decision for all of his 5th years. But, winning a natty is not a horrible way to go out, but it'd be tough to leave 1 year out there still, not give another chance to go back-to-back.
I was thinking it's a no-brainer. I feel like we have some unfinished business trying to repeat here, so I want to come here and make that journey possible. For me, I feel like we got the group to do it again. We just got to come out here and just execute every single day. So I'll take it one day at a time.
Yeah, it was actually a little tough for me because I had to figure out a few things academically. I have to do 5 years anyway, so it was kind of no-brainer in that sense, but just figuring out my classes, stuff like that, that was tough. But the football side of it was a no-brainer. I want to be with my teammates, be with my guys. I didn't want to let them down.
While the choice to return to campus and to the team may have been easy, It brought with it significant responsibilities for these super seniors as leaders of the team, with it largely falling to them to ensure the entire squad stayed on track during the almost 2-year layoff.
Having FaceTime group calls, just making sure everybody's going to, summer workouts was huge, and just keeping in touch with everybody.
We just had to make sure everyone stayed focused, everyone stayed in the playbook, stayed with their lifts, stayed with the off-season stuff, make sure nobody got in trouble. We just had to make sure whatever we were able to do, Zoom videos, text, group FaceTimes, whatever we could do to keep all of us, all 160 guys together.
I think we played a major impact. We kept the team together during the pandemic, got really close with the freshmen and even the freshmen coming in, so we kind of feel like we're a tight-knit group, and that's how we like to roll.
While the list of accomplishments for this group of seniors during their time at North Central is long, and of course topped by 2019's national championship, there is still one box they haven't checked: beating arch-rival Wheaton in the battle for the Little Brass Bell.
This whole week is our whole season right now. Everything else will play along after this week. This is everything for us.
Oh, it means everything. I've never held the bell, so I'm looking forward to holding it on Saturday.
Man, this is all we've been waiting for a long time. Like they were saying, we've never won it before. We want it so bad, so we're going to give it all we got. We're going to leave it all on the field.
Their extra year of eligibility grants the opportunity for a final shot at Wheaton, as well as a chance to repeat as champions. But these Cardinals are taking advantage of the bonus time on campus off the field as well, hitting the books just as hard as they hit the sleds and pads.
I'm actually getting my master's.
With this 5th year, I'm pursuing my master's of business administration.
Yeah, I'm doing mechanical engineering at Northern, and I'm doing physics here.
This season is different in many ways for these Cardinals. They didn't expect to still be here. They've waited through the longest off-season of their lives. They're defending national champions. They've had plenty of time to think about this unique final year and what it means to them personally and to the team.
I feel like we feel hungrier. It's something we know what we accomplished, but we know what it takes now, and I feel like everybody's buying in and that we're hungrier than ever before to pursue that second one.
It's definitely different. This is my last first week, so every week I'm looking at it the same way. Give every play I got in practice like it's my last, because as soon as it's going to be.
Now it's time for this week's Red Zone play of the game. The Cardinals may have already been up big late in the first half, but that didn't stop freshman QB Luke Lanin from airing it out, like on this picture-perfect throw to Andrew Kaminsky, who sped past his defender and made a great over-the-shoulder grab, part of a 6-catch, 148-yard performance for the All-American wide receiver. And that was the Red Zone play of the game. Well, that's going to do it for this season premiere of the Red Zone. Thanks as always to Coach Jeff Thorne, and thanks especially today to Sharmore Clarke, Ethan Greenfield, and all the seniors who took the time to answer a few questions for this week's Cardinal Corner. You can stream this weekend's game via the Wheaton College Athletics website, and we'll have highlights after the game on nctv17.com. And of course, we'll break it all down right here next week on the Red Zone. For now, I'm Alex Campbell. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week for more from the world of North Central College athletics.